Talking about the ban of single-use plastics comes into force today. Paul's raised a very valid point, actually. He says, whilst I applaud the idea, the NHS has probably the largest use of single-use plastic. I work for the NHS. The amount of plastic used is unbelievable, even on one ward.
That's very true.
He said they must be exempt from that. For medical, I mean, I get through quite a lot of plastic with my medical devices.
I mean, when I was recently in hospital, everything is packaged in little plastic bags and throw away. And
but it's
huge
to be
amount
sterile,
of plastic.
Yes,
indeed.
You've got to be sterile. And presumably these other products that they use, cornstarch is one, or sugars and things which can be used.
Wouldn't be the same. They wouldn't be able to be sterilised in the same way, would they?
Probably not. Though I have got doggy poop bags that are made of cornstarch.
Really?
They look like plastic, but they're cornstarch.
But they're biodegradable then, aren't they?
And hopefully they're as...
What a horrible thought.
Hopefully they're as, you know...
What?
Well, resilient as plastic.
Well, yeah, but they would be made to biodegrade after a while, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
which is
probably quite quickly once you've used it.
No, let's not go there. Brian says, what are coffee and tea shops going to do with the plastic stock that they already have, bearing in mind they can't dispose of them in the refuse? That's true. A lot of businesses will have an awful lot of plastic stuff. I
suppose the argument is they should have been planning for it. It's like our fella from the Federation of Fish Fryers, who's been, you know, transitioned 3 years ago. They've known it was coming, so they should have phased it out by now. Should have done.
I suppose. Well, hopefully they will have been advised.
Anyway.
Right, let's get on. Shall we bring you up to date with today's front pages? Let's look at the Mail on Sunday, leading with Suella Braverman hitting back at Elton John, who has criticised her. How could he, from his home in Saint-Tropez?
The Observer has the story that the Education Secretary has kept secret files on people critical of schools policy.
The Independent...
They're going to get a detention.
Yes, exactly. Come and see me. The Independent leads with the Tories, who are heading for a wipeout. That's according to their new poll.
And the Sunday Telegraph has the Defence Secretary's comments that British troops could be sent to Ukraine to train troops.
And the Daily Star has a report on a footballer who got up to no good but kept his socks on. Great story.
Goodness sakes. Let's go through some of those with editor of Spike, Tom Slater, and broadcaster Nabila Ramdani.
Morning again. Thank you so much.
Yes, good to see you. Let's have a look at the Observer, Nabila. A third of Tory voters will switch at the next election, it says.
Yes, indeed. That's according to an exclusive poll conducted for The Observer. It suggests that 34% of Conservative voters are currently intending to vote for other parties, so Labour and Lib Dems, in other words. And the context is the competition and indeed the contradictory demands from warring Tory factions ahead of the Tory party conference in Manchester. So, you know, this, of course, reflects what a lot of people are already saying, but it makes for very dramatic headlines, not least because general elections are often the expression of general rejections, and there's plenty of evidence that people are sick of the Conservatives. But the big question is, are they so sick that they are prepared to vote the Labour government in, effectively? And that's the real challenge for Keir Starmer. And I think that's what's going to make the conference...
It's whether they all, the third of them, switch to one way of voting, Labour, for instance, or whether they just fragment utterly. Which, again, might not give anyone a proper decisive lead.
Yes, I think that's why it's going to make the Conservative conference more exciting than ever. Because, I mean, I've heard some cheeky people calling the Prime Minister Ricky soon out, because so many of his loyal lieutenants are positioning themselves to take over, effectively. So he's got real competition from within his own camp.
Which is what I don't understand. I mean, I know it's a competitive business, but if it's true that Suella Braverman is sort of chasing that top job, you know, with her sort of challenges that they're in the papers this morning, and there's lots to talk about Penny Mordaunt, that she's running around Westminster trying to garner support and all the rest of it. It's like one of those images of a snake eating itself. Yeah. Isn't it? They're just forcing themselves out of power.
Well, I think especially where Rishi Sunak is concerned, he never won a leadership election insofar as he never went to the voters, he never went to the Tory members. He's always had a lot of difficulty stamping his own authority on the party, which is one of the reasons why he's had to be quite cautious on various other things. And I think it's so fascinating as well, just in terms of where we're going to be at in terms of the voters at the next election, because what's so clear is that whilst a lot of people are running away from the Tory party, they feel like they haven't followed through on that mandate that they got in 2019. You know, they've had one scandal after another and they're fed up with them. But at the same time, it's not obvious that people are rushing towards Keir Starmer. I think the big group to watch at the next election will be people who go back to not voting, because that has been the group that's been so decisive in recent years. People who hadn't voted for a very long time or never voted in many cases, they began voting for UKIP, voted for Brexit at the EU referendum, voted for the Brexit Party, and then that kind of became a gateway to voting Tory for many people who historically, given they're from working class communities, often in the North and the Midlands, wouldn't have voted that way. I think a lot of those people are going to go back to not voting, frankly.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it could be a bumpy year for the Lib Dems, because a lot of people, if they don't want to vote, I mean, look, I know they're not that well aligned, but you know, if they can't bring themselves to vote, if they're Tories, can't bring themselves to vote for Labour, maybe they vote for Lib Dem. I mean, it's also protest party.
It's also volatile at the moment. I think that's one of the things that makes it very hard to talk to the old bases of...
This poll suggests that the Tories have lost voters in crucial areas, the southern heartlands and the red wall seats in the Midlands. But I would contend that it's all up for grabs still, because the key issue will remain economics. And there's a lot of sceptical voters who still don't trust Labour with budget, with figures. And so it's going to be incredibly tough. But I would say that a Tory government, however divided it looks at the moment, still has a chance to get...
Well, Jeremy Hunt, hasn't he, has hinted that they won't call an election until he's confident, or he feels he has already got inflation down to 3% or below. And if he does manage that, that's quite an achievement, isn't it?
And it would be something which people would presumably begin to feel less of the pinch and so on. Maybe that will make people look again at the Conservatives, but it is such a narrow path to victory at this point. I mean, it would be stunning if they managed to even pull it off. But at the same time, you are in a situation where this is not like 1997. This is not the Labour Party riding high.
No, it's not.
A clear sense of, enthusiasm. It just isn't there in relation.
I tell you who may have a narrow path to victory, according to the Mail on Sunday. Meghan Markle, or Meghan Wales, or whatever we're meant to call her now, could be the next senator for California.
Yes, so the headline is, has veteran US politician's death opened door to Senator Meghan? The answer is almost certainly no, but her PR team have been getting to work trying to suggest that after the death of Dianne Feinstein, who was 90, she's the longest-serving...
She's legendary, wasn't she?
Indeed, like a real sort of trailblazer, as people would say. You know, she's the longest-serving female senator, long-time politician, and there's obviously this question because now the governor of California essentially has to select someone to fill the role until the next election, and Meghan's PR people seemingly have been quite busy suggesting that maybe she would be in the frame. It's no secret that she has political ambitions. This is something that's been talked about a lot. People even talk about potentially a presidential bid. Now people will of course say, you know, a celebrity suddenly launching themselves into the political stage. When has that ever happened? But
well, in California, it happens, doesn't it?
Well, that's the other thing. The kind of celebrification of politics has been going on for quite a long time, not just in America.
And it doesn't mean they're bad politicians. I mean, Schwarzenegger was a very reliable and well thought of governor for a long time, as of course was Ronald Reagan.
And in some respects, I feel like so many politicians are so vapid anyway. Does it make that much difference these days?
But what's misleading is her PR suggesting she's branded about in Hollywood. She's never been part of that Hollywood bubble. No. That's the reality. She's never been anywhere near Hollywood. That's her great, cause for...
But she's a very big name there. She's a good speaker. She has already, espoused certain causes.
Is she, though? I really cannot take this story seriously at all.
I don't know.
She has no constituency at all, as far as I can see. On the contrary, she managed to make herself very unpopular, including in America, where a lot of Americans still have an awful lot of respect for the British royal family. And I'll tell you, even Donald Trump has shown immense respect for the late Queen. She clearly made Her Majesty's last few years a misery, not least of all by coming up with unfounded accusations about racism. And I'm sorry to say, but I get the feeling that Meghan's only supporter is Prince Harry, but he's not even allowed a vote.
No,
That's true.
no. I don't know. Well, there's nothing wrong with having aspirations. Let's not knock anyone for having aspirations. I tell you who I love, who are big on both sides of the Atlantic, and have loved them for years, and that is U2.
Yes, they get my vote.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, there's, in the States, in Las Vegas, there's this new incredible venue, $2.4 billion it's cost. Anyway, it's opened, and U2 were sort of behind it all. It's a huge sphere of which you can project things on the inside and outside, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible
So
mountains.
This is a shot of the inside of it.
So this is, yeah, so
It's like a big IMAX screen almost.
Yeah, you see
sort of all around
entire
you.
deserts and mountains in the background. It's quite dramatic, and it's great as a spectacle.
And good for the cheap seats, I imagine, because you think...
Well, you can't miss it, can you?
So are you two playing a concert there?
And it wouldn't...
Yeah, they've done it, haven't they?
They've already played a concert there.
I think we got a shot of the edge. in a
I
minute,
do
but-
wonder if it pushes the music into second place, though, by having this visual distraction, if I may put it that way.
My goodness.
Well, yeah, the band was very small, Dan. But I'll tell you what, if the music and the visuals work hand in hand, then it's just makes it a different experience, doesn't it?
Funnily enough, I bumped into them in a hotel in Morocco.
Did you?
You too?
I saw this character at the breakfast table outdoors wearing a beanie hat under extreme heat.
Oh, that'd
And
be the
I
edge
thought-
then.
I was very polite.
Did you go up and say anything?
I did, because I was
Because you have to,
cheeky.
don't you? Well,
But
you
I
have
was
to grab
polite.
your moment,
No.
don't you?
I called him Mr. Edge.
Yeah.
Mr. Edge.
Very formal.
And Bono turned up, and we ended up talking about Northern Ireland politics.
Oh, Lord.
Good Lord.
And he said,
doesn't
we
take a
got
day
there
off,
in the end. We got them all to sit around a table and talk.
But I think that's lovely. If you ever do bump into, quite by accident, somebody, a celebrity or somebody you know, they don't know you, but you really know them. I think you've got to grab the bull by the horns
Yes,
and
I
say
think
something
so.
politely.
Say hello.
But some
You've got to have your
celebrities
moment, haven't you?
respond well to that.
Yeah.
Others will
Others don't.
don't.
Well, if they
Yes.
don't, then more
But I
fool
never
them.
understood that, because what's the point of wanting to be famous if you don't want love
People-
from
yeah.
your constituency?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, do you remember Cara Lawrence, who... she's been on the show a couple of times. She works for is it Mind? She has... she's got Down. She's got a mental disability, and she works for the charity. Is it Mind? Oh, my mind's gone blank now. But she works for the charity that helps people with learning disabilities and learning difficulties. She does a podcast called the Pink Sparkle Podcast, which I've been on. It's brilliant. But she's had the edge on that because he's her cousin.
Wow.
What a weird small world.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
So she may well be watching this morning. You never know.
I'm winning if you are.
So there you go. Weird small world. Very importantly to me, Tom, because I think the whole avocado on toast thing is ridiculous and very posh.
I'm looking forward to mine when I get home.
You see, but now apparently the Observer's saying it's all being ditched for peas.
Yeah, this is the new kind of brunch smashed substance on toast of choice, it seems like. I don't know if it's because it's cheaper or whether or not it's something which people are just bored of one trend, so they're going with the other. But yes, apparently peas on toast, the hashtag has been doing the rounds on TikTok, on social media. It's become one of the kind of hip brunch spots, something which is increasingly on the menu. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but then I wasn't a big fan of the avocado on
I
toast.
love peas, but not on toast.
Oh, I
surely.
don't know. But if they're fresh and raw, because fresh raw peas, if you ever...
You try keeping them on the toast, then, if they're fresh and raw. Well, you're going to keep them on the
Well, you
toast.
guys still have to smash them.
Smash them.
But that would be the thing, because if you ever... We used to grow our lime veg.
Oh, I love fresh peas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, straight out the pod. Unbelievable.
I'm a city girl.
I love it.
Mushy peas on toast could be good.
Oh, now that I'd definitely go for with a splash of gravy on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at
Okay.
that. You've never had mushy peas, have you?
No, I don't like much. Still can't even bring myself to try them. But I love peas. I do love garden peas. Smashing.
Peas. What would you like on
Butter
toast?
and black
Nicola?
pepper.
Good.
I don't know. I'm not too fond of bread in general.
Oh, give over.
I just
You're
like-
French.
Are you saying you never
don't get a baguette every morning.
No, I think that's an overrated thing. It's mainly white bread. It's dough. It's got zero nutritional value.
Yes, but it's crispy and gorgeous.
If I am to have bread, I'd rather have something that brings something to the party.
Sacre bleu!
Are you saying that you've never, cracked open that tin of baked beans?
I have.
Slice of Hovis white.
I have. Cup of tea, baked beans.
Bread is I think bread is one of the best things in the world.
Well, and it's one of the best things about going to France is having properly baked fresh baguettes in the morning with a nice bit of brie.
Lovely.
I think it became... it was celebrated by UNESCO as part of, French heritage.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's the first thing we learn about at school, isn't it? About boulangerie.
Yes, that's right.
It's the most important thing for English people to
Yes,
know.
it is. Yeah.
But you see, tomatoes on toast is a big thing, especially in Spain. Your
Bruschetta.
tostada con tomate.
And bruschetta.
Oh, see, bruschetta.
That's beautiful.
See, listen to me. I'm
so
almost
cosmopolitan.
bilingual. No, whenever I'm in Spain, it's what I always go out, always have.
I think it must be something about breakfast television as well. When you've been on air for a long time, from early in the morning, all you can think about is food.
And sleep.
And sleep.
That's all
Food
you
and
talk
sleep.
about.
Yeah.
Honestly, food and sleep. Anyway, on that note, you two can go and sleep and feed yourselves.
Yes.
It's been very good to see you both.
Yeah, we'll be after you soon.
Au revoir.
Yeah.
Au revoir.
Let's have a look at the weather for you.